The unsent invitation. When my brother announced his wedding, I expected at least a message, a call, something. Instead, I found out from a family friend's Facebook post. Everyone in my family knew, but somehow forgot to tell me. My mom brushed it off when I asked, "You've been so busy. We didn't think you'd come anyway." The truth? I wasn't busy. I was just the family disappointment. I didn't follow the traditional path, didn't have the respectable job, didn't fit into their picture-perfect version of success. My brother was the golden child, steady, charming, engaged to a woman my parents adored. The wedding was set in the same city I lived in, yet no one thought I should be there. No text, no call, nothing. It stung more than I wanted to admit. So I decided not to sit around waiting for pity invites. I booked a solo trip instead, a mountain escape far from all their filtered smiles and fake family photos. While they were clinking glasses at the rehearsal dinner, I was hiking through fog and pine, breathing air that didn't smell like judgment. But as I stood there overlooking the valley, my phone buzzed. A message from my brother's fiancé. "Sorry, dear, this event isn't for everyone." I stared at the screen, numb. That wasn't an accident. It was a message meant to remind me of my place, or lack of it. They thought excluding me would humiliate me. Instead, it became the start of something none of them expected. The trip that changed everything. The next morning, I woke up to a snow-covered world. The mountains were wrapped in a quiet stillness, the kind that almost feels sacred. I brewed coffee, watched the fog roll across the valley, and felt something shift. For once, no one was telling me what I should be, how I should act, or who I should impress. The silence was heavier than the family noise I'd left behind, but also freeing. I spent the first 2 days exploring alone. I'd rented a small cabin near a frozen lake, a place where time seemed to pause. The owner, an old woman named Helen, told me she'd lived there since her husband died 10 years ago. She said she liked the quiet because it makes people honest with themselves. Her words stuck with me. On the day of the wedding, while my family dressed up in matching outfits and posed for pictures, I hiked to a ridge overlooking the valley. It was freezing, but the sky was clear, painted with pink and gold. I took out my phone, opened social media, and watched the wedding unfold live through the posts of others. My brother beamed. My parents looked proud. They looked happy, whole, complete, without me. At first, I felt that familiar ache in my chest. But then, something strange happened. I didn't feel sad anymore. I felt done. Done chasing their approval. Done trying to belong in a place that clearly didn't want me. I turned off my phone and let it fall into the snow. The screen cracked, but I didn't care. The next few days were quiet but meaningful. I met travelers, artists, freelancers, even a photographer who lived out of his van. They weren't rich or successful by my parents' standards, but they were alive in ways I'd never seen before. We shared food, stories, and silence around the campfire. Nobody asked what I earned. Nobody judged how I lived. That week changed something in me. When I returned home, I didn't tell anyone. I didn't post photos or mention my trip. I simply got to work. I'd always been good at design and digital marketing, so I decided to take it seriously. I built a small online agency offering creative services to startups. It was rough in the beginning, long nights, endless rejections, but within 6 months, I had clients in 3 countries. Money started coming in, slowly at first, then faster. My name started circulating in creative networks. One of my campaigns even got featured in an online magazine. The irony wasn't lost on me. While my family was showing off staged happiness, I was quietly building something real. I didn't tell them. I wanted peace, not validation. Then, out of nowhere, I got a message from my mother. "Your brother's wife is pregnant," she said, followed by a photo of a sonogram. You should call and congratulate them. I didn't reply, not out of anger, but because I didn't owe them that anymore. Weeks later, another message came, this time from my brother. Hey, listen, I know things got weird. Maybe we can talk sometime. I didn't answer that either, but life has a way of circling back. Months later, I received an invitation to a family reunion at my parents' house. The same place I was once told I didn't belong. I almost deleted it, but curiosity won. I went, not for them, but for myself. When I walked in, every head turned. My brother's wife froze mid-sentence. My parents looked stunned, as if I'd stepped out of a different world. And in a way, I had. I was no longer the unemployed disappointment they pitied. I was someone who'd learned to live without their approval, and that power scared them more than my absence ever did. As I sat down, my mother forced a smile and said, "We're glad you could make it." I smiled back. I almost didn't. I said, "But I figured if I can survive a winter in the mountains alone, I can survive dinner with you." The room went quiet. My brother looked away. They still didn't know the full story, but they would soon. The dinner they'll never forget. The table was set the same as always, white plates, silver cutlery, a centerpiece of roses my mom insisted on arranging herself. But the atmosphere was off. Every glance felt measured, every word half swallowed. My father tried to fill the silence with small talk, asking about the weather, politics, anything but the truth sitting right there between us. When my mother finally asked how I'd been, I smiled. "Pretty good," I said. "Work's been busy." My brother laughed softly. "Work? I thought you were still freelancing or whatever." I looked him dead in the eye. "Yeah, that freelancing paid off my cabin, the one I bought last month." The words hit like a stone dropped in a pond. My father blinked. My mother's fork froze midair. My brother tried to play it cool, but his smirk faltered. "That's impressive," my dad muttered. "Thanks," I said casually. "It's peaceful there. No yelling. No guilt trips. Just quiet." The silence after that stretched long enough for me to remember every insult, every time they told me I was wasting my life. But I didn't want revenge. I just wanted peace. And that's what this moment gave me. Then my brother's wife asked softly, "You really went alone?" I nodded. "Yeah." And I found myself there. Nobody had a response. They all looked down, picking at their food, pretending not to feel the weight of their choices. I stood up and said, "You don't have to like me. You don't even have to understand me. But from now on, you'll respect me." My mother opened her mouth, but no words came out. My dad looked like he wanted to speak, but didn't know how. For once, they were silent. I walked toward the door, feeling lighter than I had in years. Outside, the cold air hit my face, sharp but clean. I took a deep breath, looked up at the night sky, and smiled. They could keep their pride, their rules, their illusions of control. I had something better: freedom, peace, and a life that was truly mine.